gonna keep the show moving. This next comedian, you're gonna absolutely love him. Please make a lot of noise for DeAngelo.
New York City! It's so nice to be in the presence of so many locals. But yeah, so I'm a stand-up comedy virgin. You guys are my first. So the last interaction I had with a New York City local was about a few weeks ago. I got off the subway and this woman came up to me and she was like, "Can I please shower in your apartment?" So immediately I'm like, no. But I was like, well, maybe if she was like a nice lady, like came up to me and was like, excuse me, sir, like, could I shower in your apartment? My water's off. I would consider it, but that's not what happened. She was literally like, can I shower in your apartment? It's like when a kid goes up to you, it's like, you got games on your phone? Yeah, this ain't gonna work out. But yeah, speaking of gross things, anyone else here hate working? Trick question, we all do. So side note, I'm an actor, but actor gigs, they're not often, so you gotta find a way to pay the bills. So last year, pandemic, 2020, it was a pretty good year for me. Lost my job, got a stimmy check, two stimmy checks, I was making like $1,000 a week in unemployment. But that only lasted a few months, so I was like, okay, you gotta find a job now. So I went to Trader Joe's. I was like, I can do this will be fine. Interview's going well. First interview was great. Second interview, they're like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, not here! So, didn't get that job. Next, I was like, well, let me go try Amazon delivery. That's like an easy job. I mean, anyone can do that. So they put me on a training shift, and they're like, the guy I'm with was like, yeah, we deliver like 70 packages on a training shift. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, regular shifts are like 300. I'm like, yeah, this is my last day. So that didn't work out either. So then I was like, oh, what about this cool restaurant, Medieval Times? That seems pretty cool. So I walked in, I'm like, hi, I'd like to apply as king. They're like, oh, we don't have king, we only have queens here. I'm like, well, I can do drag if you need that too. But yeah, that was taken, so I couldn't do that. But then they're like, we have night available. And I was like, oh, okay, well, tell me about that. They're like, yeah, you take care of horses, you have sword training, blah, 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 this and this. I'm like, yeah, it starts at minimum wage. So I'm like, so I can either flip burgers or do sword fighting and take care of horses for the same price. Yeah, this isn't gonna work out either. So then I went to another restaurant, a typical restaurant. I was hired as a waiter. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. They're like, yeah, I can come in the same day I was hired. They're like, come in the same night for a meeting. So I'm like, okay. Get there, they're like, hey guys, so we're gonna do some renovations today. We're gonna do some painting. I'm like, I'm not a handyman, what are you doing? No. So the next time I come in, I'm like, maybe this is just a one-time thing. So I go in again. They're like, hey guys, we're gonna do some painting today. I'm like, wasn't I hired as a waiter? What am I doing here? So then, the next time I came in, I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out. So they gave me a check for like $600 for like 3 days. So I was like, okay. But then at the end of all that benefits decided to be extended again. So then I was like, Miami! Yeah, so anyone else go out to eat during the pandemic, during the winter? Those little huts, aren't those fun? So let's see, I think it was about February this year, I went to eat Little Italy, and I went to this nice place, and we ordered pizza. And first we ordered pepperoni, but they're like, oh, we don't have that. So I'm like, okay, we have cheese. So then 5 minutes later they come back, they're like, oh, we have pepperoni. We're like, okay. So then about 15 minutes later, we see the waitress coming back from across the street holding 2 boxes of pizza from a different restaurant. So I'm like, that's probably not for us, I don't know what that is. 2 minutes later, they come out with the box of pizza, the top cut off, bring it to the table. Here you go. Sketchy. But yeah, so I just want to leave you guys with some advice. If anyone out here has any haters, when they go low, you go lower. Thank you, have a good night.